Hello friends, welcome to the next video of DBMS practical lecture series. In this video we are going to discuss about the procedures and different types of parameters possible with the procedures. So we can have three types of parameters like in, out and in, out, and you must watch the video in sequence because these concepts are linked to each other, means to understand out you must understand in. So let's start. So first of all, the definition of procedures, they are called as a subprogram, means a block of code is supposed to perform a specific operation can be called as a subprogram or procedure, and they are stored in the database for the reuse purpose, means once created you can call the procedures again and again as per your requirement, and they can be called or referred from the SQL command line directly or from inside the other blocks, means that other block can be a procedure or any anonymous block. We will see in the examples. And we can also have the functions in Oracle. Functions are also block of code or subprograms, but functions are always supposed to return a value, but procedure may or may not return a value. Second thing, procedures always return a value with the help of parameters only, means with the help of out or in out parameter, but functions are returning value with the help of return keyword and a return variable. Next thing, there are three types of parameters possible with a procedure: in, out and in, out. And in, first of all we need to discuss about the in, means whenever we need to pass a value to the parameter, a constant value, we can say that at that time we will be using in parameter. It is also the default type, means if nothing is mentioned with the parameter will be of in type, and we can also pass a constant, literal or expression for in parameter, but we are not supposed to update that parameter within the procedure body, means you cannot change the value of in parameter in the function, in the procedure, And second type is out parameter, that is supposed to return a value to the caller procedure, means the block is responsible for calling the procedure will receive the value returned by the out parameter. Okay, and we are supposed to update the value of out parameter, means it will not retain the value. If you are passing any value to the out parameter, it will not retain that value, it will not take that value for further actions, means it is supposed to be updated within the procedure body, and it will return the same value, means the new updated value to the caller procedure. Okay, and third type is in and out, that is possessing the properties of both first in and out parameter, means it is having the properties of both. It can receive the value as well as it can be updated within the procedure. So it is a mix of both in and out parameter. So initial value can be received through in out parameter, and it can also return an updated value to the caller. Okay, it is a string buffer, we can call it a string buffer, that is read within the procedure and then updated. Now the syntax, coming to the syntax, for creating and replacing a procedure, we can write create or replace procedure. If you are sure that you are creating the procedure for the first time, you can only use the create keyword. Otherwise you need to write the create or replace procedure in case if you are not sure about that it is the same procedure already exists or not. Next we have the parameters, that block is totally optional. After is we have the declaration section, means all the variable you need to use within the procedure body you can declare in the declaration section. So start after the is and before begin we have the declaration section, and after begin we have the executable section, means all the statements or expression to be executed, like for insertion into the table or deletion into the table or any type of expression will be written in the executable section. And after that we have the end of the procedure, and last you need to add a backslash for end of the query, just to define the end of this procedure statement. Next, you can also have the exception section after the begin and before end section, but we are not discussing that portion in this video. And next syntax is to drop a procedure. How we can delete a procedure? So like any table view, we can also use the same command like drop with the keyword procedure to delete a procedure name. Okay, so drop procedure and procedure name, it will drop the procedure, means delete the procedure. So let's start with a practical demonstration. This time we are going to create a simple procedure just to display a string. So let's start create. As I am creating the procedure for the first time, I can directly use create procedure. Let's give it a name. This pro1 is, I am not going to declare anything for the first example. We will declare the variables for the further examples. Begin. Here I am just going to print something. For example, this, the print command for this oracle is dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, then whatever you want to perform, the single quote, and within that I am suppose writing semicolon. Okay, and next we have the end command. You can also write the command in capitals. Last we have the backslash, and the procedure is created successfully because the procedure was not already existing. If you try to create the procedure again with the same name, it will give you an error. For that you can use the create or replace procedure. Okay, in that case, if you want to create the procedure or change the statement of the procedure, then you need to use create or replace procedure for next time. Okay, so here the procedure is created successfully. So let's try to execute the procedure, and for that we have the command exec. This is we can execute the procedure in multiple ways. So this is the first method. We just need to write exec and procedure name, and if you have any parameter, then you need to pass a parameter within the parenthesis, as we are doing for any programming language. So exec procedure 1, and the procedure is successfully completed, means executed, but we have not received this statement as the output statement. Reason being, we have not set the output on for this command line. So for that you need to write set server output on. Okay, after setting this server output on, now if you try executing the procedure, then you will receive the output. Okay, so after setting the output on, execution is successful and we are getting the output as sticky petals because we have just one print statement in the procedure. Okay, let's see another method of executing the procedure. So similar method is like this. You can simply write execute procedure 1, and here is the output. And the last method is, okay, these two methods were similar. The last method is if you want to call the procedure from another block. For this time I am going to create an anonymous block. We will later see how we can call the procedure from other procedures as well. So for this time I am creating anonymous block. Anonymous means we are not providing any name like create procedure name, or create function name, create view name. So here I am not providing any name to this block. That's why we are calling it anonymous block. Just a begin and the procedure name and end of the blocks, and the procedure is executed. Okay, because we have not provided any name to this block, so this block is executed immediately. Otherwise you can call the procedure within another procedure, then you have to call the second procedure to call the first procedure. Okay, we will see this example in this video as well. So let's modify the procedure for the parameters. We have not passed any parameter to the procedures yet. So let's create the same procedure, but this time I want to pass a parameter to the procedure. So I am just copying this command and I am going to paste it to a Word file where we can edit this this command, because we can say that re-execute the same command. Like here, as I have written the command in multiple lines, so create procedure pro1, and we can also write the procedure command in single line. Okay, but that is not a more readable form. But this time you can create the command in multiple lines, or you can write the complete command in single line also, means both options are correct. But if you are writing the command in a multiple line, you cannot move back, because there is no option of going back to the, means you cannot edit the command easily if you are writing the command in multiple lines. That's why what I am trying to do, I am just writing the command in MS in a Word file, so that I can simply copy paste the command and I can easily repeat the command as well. So I am going to create the procedure, but this time with a parameter. I want to pass a parameter to the procedure. So this time I need to use create or replace, because I have already created a procedure with the same name, and this time I need to pass a parameter and I am giving it a name of type varchar. I am not defining any parameter, means I am not parameter type like in, out, etc. I am not providing any parameter type, because if we are not providing any type, the default type is in. Okay, if you remember, we discussed that if you are not providing any parameter type, in, out or in, out, okay, you can provide the names here in or out or in, out. Okay, so whatever type of variable you require, parameter you require, you can specify the type here. So for first example, we are not providing any type of the parameter. So create or replace procedure name of and variable name is name of type varchar. Is begin, I am just now instead of this I must use some other string. So this is our procedure 1, so I am writing procedure 1, and after that I want to print the variable value. So the parameter I am receiving here, I want to print the value of the parameter, means whatever value I am receiving here, I need to print it within this print statement. So this time I am going to print procedure 1, and for concatenation, means I am concatenating this string with this parameter value. So for that, this parameter can be of number type, can be of any other type. So I am for this example I am just taking string parameters. So for concatenation I am using the double pipeline operator and end. So this command is complete, so simply copy it and I am going to paste it to the SQL command prompt. End. Okay, and procedure is successfully created. So let's try to execute the procedure. This time I need to pass the parameter as well. Suppose I am passing a string, this, and the procedure is executed. So we have received the output as procedure 1, but there is no space within these two strings, means first string procedure 1 and the techie petal. So let's update the query. So this time it is easier for me to make changes to the query in Word file and directly run the command. Next thing you must note down here, if you are writing the query in Word and you want to paste it to the command prompt for running, then the single quote in words are like this. Okay, and it will give an error for the SQL command line prompt. So you need to use this type of single quote only. You can copy these quotes from the command line. Otherwise, if you are directly writing to the Word file, then you are going to get the error for these single quotes. Okay. So this time I have modified the query and added a space, and again I am going to replace the procedure. This time again I am replacing the procedure 1, and let's execute the procedure. So this time the strings are clearly separated, procedure 1 and this is the string. So here what is happening, I am calling the procedure pro1 and I am passing a string as input variable, in variable. So in variable is received here as techie petals, and for the output statement this first string is printed in concatenation to the parameter in parameter name, and here instead of name it is printing the value of this parameter, and the value of this variable parameter is techie petals. So procedure is successfully completed. Next, the default type, you must know, if we have not mentioned anything, the default type is in. Okay, so let's try to write in here, and again I am going to replace the procedure. So it's not going to change anything, because if you are not mentioning anything, the default type of parameter is in. So this time I am trying to execute the same procedure, but this time I have mentioned the parameter type as in. So let's execute the procedure again. So here is the same output. Okay, so if you are using in parameter, you can simply write the parameter name and the data type. So next, try to change the procedure again. This time I am going to declare, or not to declare, let's try to update the value. As for in parameter, the rule is we cannot update the value of the in parameter within the procedure. So let's try to update it. I am trying to assign a new value. So for assignment in Oracle, you need to use colon then equal to, and this time we cannot use this single quote. Okay, so you can use a copy paste command to use these type of single quotes. So here I am going to assign a value to this as procedure 1. Okay, and semicolon, or just replace it with some random number ABC. Okay, to avoid the confusion, I am providing a different string, so I am providing it ABC. So here let's try to replace the procedure again. This time I am violating the rules, means I am trying to assign or update the value of in parameter. So let's replace the procedure again. Okay, so it is created, means procedure is created, but this time I am getting the compilation errors. So procedure is successfully created, but with compilation error. So the compilation error is this, that you cannot update the value of in parameter. It is always going to give you an error. Okay, so for this time, okay, let's try to execute this procedure as well. The procedure is created with compilation error, and if you try execute such type of procedure, then you are going to get error for the execution. Means this is saying that object system dot procedure 1 is invalid, and you cannot execute such procedures with compilation error. So if you want to update the value, so crux is, if you want to update the value of a parameter within the procedure, then you need to change the type from in to out. Okay, so let's again replace the procedure. This time I am assigning a type out to the name parameter. So this time name parameter is of type out. Okay, so again replace the procedure. This time the parameter type is out, and the procedure is created without any compilation error. Now there is a twist, that you cannot directly call this procedure. So let's try to execute the procedure and let's see what will happen. If you try to execute this procedure, you are going to get an error, and the error is this, means you cannot assign an expression to out parameter. Okay, the procedure is created successfully, but the problem is the out parameter. Please note down this, you cannot pass an expression to out parameter, because out parameter is supposed to hold a variable that can return a value. By return a value, we mean that we are not going to use the return statement, but the updated value means you can update the value of name parameter as name is out parameter in this procedure, and that updated value is automatically returned to the caller block or caller procedure, and we can use the updated value or returned value in the caller procedure. But we are not supposed to pass an expression, we are supposed to pass only a variable to the out parameter. We cannot pass a constant, literal or an expression to the out parameter. Okay, and if you want to pass a variable to out parameter, then you need to call the procedure 1 from another block. So for this I am going to create another procedure that can call this procedure. Okay, so let's create another procedure. I'm just keeping the view. So this time I am creating another procedure 2, and I am not passing any parameter to this second procedure, because I just want to make a call to first procedure from the second procedure. Okay, this is my only we can say that purpose. So this time I am going to declare a variable. Suppose I am going to declare a variable name x of type 10 or size 10. Okay, so I have created another procedure and we have declared a variable, because as discussed we are supposed to pass a variable, only a variable to the out parameter, because those variables out parameters are only we can say that holders for the return value. Okay, so you cannot pass an expression to hold another value. So here we need to pass that holder will be a variable only. So create or replace procedure 2, and we declared a variable x. Now I am going to call the procedure 1 from this procedure. Okay, and here I am going to pass x. Done. So here I am going to pass x, and we can also have a printing statement. So here I am going to add one print statement for procedure 2, and here I am going to print x. You can also have the same variable name, means we can have the variable name as name in this procedure 2 as well. As this, if you are giving it a name, that name will be local variable of second procedure, and this name variable will be different. If you can also have the same name, so this variable name will be different and this will be different. But just to avoid confusion, I am using different name for different procedures. So here we have just declared one variable x, and we are also printing the value of x, that is nothing. So just skip this for time being, because we have not assigned any value to x, and we are calling the procedure 1 from the procedure 2, or you can have this statement without this, because we are not passing any we are not assigning any value to x in procedure 2, and just make a call to procedure 1 with the x. Note here we have not assigned any value to x, so it's a type of blank variable that we are passing to the out parameter. Okay, so let's create this procedure. So procedure 2 is created, procedure 1 is created. Now we are supposed to call procedure 1, and procedure 1 will automatically call the procedure 1. Okay, so what will happen here when we make a call to procedure 1? So from procedure 1 procedure 1, the control will be transferred to procedure 1, and here it will receive x in the parameter name. Now name will be assigned with the value abc. So first of all we will have this print statement. This print statement will be printed first, and after that this will be first print statement, and after that we have this statement to be printed. This time this value will be abc. So this is the second print statement to be printed. So let's try to execute this procedure and analyze the output. Procedure 2 without any parameter, because procedure 2 is not receiving any parameter. So here is the output. After execution, the procedure 2 statement is executed. This statement is executed without any value of variable, because we are not printing and assigning any value of x in the procedure 2, and the control is moved to procedure 1 where we had updated the value. So let's move to the procedure 1. We had updated the value of this received parameter to abc, and we are printing the same value. Now, so this is the way how out parameter can be used. Now let's try to add one more printout statement after this. Okay, now let's see whether the value is retained or not. So this time I am going to print the value of x. So let's replace the procedure again. I'm just printing the value, or we can also add a print statement for x here. I'm just printing the value before calling the procedure, and then I'm calling the procedure 1, and then I'm printing the value of variable after calling the procedure. So let's replace the procedure 2 again. Okay, and execute the procedure and analyze the value. So here procedure 2 is called again, called for the first time, and it has not printed any value. It has not printed any value of x, because x is not assigned with any value yet. Okay, so it is printing nothing for x. Next, the procedure 1 is called, and where we had updated the value of name to abc, and after the call is returned, means we are returned from the procedure 1, the value is updated, means now this time x is having the value that we had assigned in the procedure 1 as abc. Okay, so after a call is returned, here the x is now updated to a new value abc, and the value is updated in the procedure 1. Okay, I hope this concept is clear to you, because out parameter is replacing the value, is updating the value, and that updated value, it can be used in the caller program. Okay, the concept was the same. We can use the value of caller program. Now let's move to in out parameter, and before that we need to understand the limitation of out. So here, if we are assigning any value to x, so let's assign a value to x in the calling program. I am assigning a value, so we need to copy that single quote as xyz. Okay, so this time we are also initializing the variable in the caller program, and let's see what will happen. We need to replace this procedure again. This is our procedure 2, and now let's call the procedure 2. Okay, so now analyze the output. What will happen? The value of, if you want to update the value, you need to use out parameter. And now what's happening, the procedure 2 is printing. Initially we had assigned a value to x in procedure 2 as xyz. So this statement is executed first and xyz is printed. Next we have the calling for procedure 1 where the value of x is updated to ABC, and again we have a calling statement, printing statement in procedure 2 where the updated value is printed. Okay, now let's also try to update, not to update the value. So here I am not going to assign any value. Okay, so let's remove this statement. I have just changed the procedure 1. This time I am not updating the value of out parameter. Now let's see what will happen, whether it will print xyz or not, because I have assigned a value to x as xyz. This string is assigned to x variable, and after calling, okay, like in any other programming language, if we are passing a value, that value can be used in the procedure or function body. But here, as we have passed the x equals to xyz, so xyz is not received here. XYZ is not received here, so it is not this variable name, as it is out parameter. So name parameter is not receiving any value. It is just replacing a placeholder that can return or that can hold a return value. So here after calling, what will happen? XYZ means XYZ will not be printed here. It will print a blank or a null, because out parameter is not supposed to receive any value, unlike in parameter. So it is not receiving any value. So let's replace the procedure 1 again. This time we are not assigning or updating the value of out parameter. Okay, so you need to understand this thing, only you can be able to understand the difference between in out and in out parameters. So here we have not assigned any value, but we are thinking that name may retain the value of calling program. So the procedure 2 is this. So this is our procedure 2 and this is our procedure 1. Now let's execute the procedure 2. Okay, and here is the output. What's happening? Procedure 2 is printing the initial value of x. After that, x is passed to the procedure 1, and from procedure 1 we have not updated any value. That's why it is printing a null, okay, or nothing. So after that, after the call is returned to procedure 2, again the x is updated to null. So it is printing a null value for x in procedure 2 as well. Okay, so this xyz value is no more existing because the x is updated to a null value, because we have not make any updation for x in the procedure 1. So now x is holding a null, so it is also printing a null value in the calling procedure. Okay, so now if our requirement is, please note that if you need to use the value in the calling in the procedure, only use the value in the procedure, then the procedure must receive in parameter. And if you only need to pass an updated value to the calling procedure, then we need to use out parameter. Now here comes a as our requirement was to change the means use the value from the calling procedure, and we must also be able to update the value in the procedure. So if the both requirement exist, then you must use in out type of parameter. Okay, now what will happen with in out parameter? It can receive a value or expression, and we are also able to update the value. So both options are available with in out parameter. So this time I am going to replace the procedure 1 only. After replacement of procedure 1, now what will happen? If we as we have assigned xyz string to this variable, and now the first print statement will be this procedure 2 xyz, and next we will move to the procedure 1, and here it will print this procedure 1, but this time it will not print a blank, it will print a value xyz, because it is a type of in out parameter. So it is supposed to receive a value and it can also return a value. So here it will print xyz, and again when we will be coming back from the procedure to the calling procedure, then it will print the value xyz, because we have not updated value in the procedure 1. Okay, so let's try to execute procedure 2 this time. This time it has retained the value of the calling procedure. So xyz is passed from the calling procedure, so it is retaining that value for the calling procedure. Okay, so you can also update the value. So now let's try to update the value of the parameter in the procedure 1. So I am going to assign the string abc to in out parameter in the procedure 1. Now let's replace the procedure 1. So procedure 1 is replaced, means created again, and procedure 2 is the same, so let's replace it as well. So both procedures are created, but this time we are also passing a value and we are also updating the value, because we have the parameter of type in out. So let's try executing the procedure. So executing the procedure 2, and the output as we had expected, we get procedure 2 with the initial value. Then we are calling the procedure 1, and in procedure 1 we are updating the value to abc, means a new string, and here we have the printing statement, and when we are back to the calling procedure, we are again we are able to use the updated value of x, and this time x is updated to abc, means a new string. So that's it for this video. In next video we will have the procedures with more than one parameter and numeric type of parameter to perform more complex operations. So till then, bye and take care.